Hey everybody, so for a little while now, David Zaslav has been going through Warner Bros. Discovery and just taking an axe to so many projects. People have been kind of questioning, like, why are you guys doing this? Why are you guys making this? Kind of like the Batgirl film, right? It kind of like, why would you put Michael Keaton, who's almost 80, into a Batman batsuit and have him go jump around Gotham City, right? Shit like that just really doesn't make sense. Plus, there's other shit like the Ellen DeGeneres cartoon, which I really have no clue who that targets. And this has nothing to do with her being gay. This is all about the fact that she abused her fucking employees. Why would you honor this woman and give her a cartoon that nobody wants to fucking watch, right? Warner Bros. Has been making like some really, really questionable decisions, and David Zaslav has come in and is just taking an axe to everything. And the latest target seems to be DC Comics, which I think a lot of people were questioning whether or not he would even bother with it, because the comics side of things is such a, not a priority for them. I mean, they use DC the way that Disney uses Marvel, comics-wise. They use them as IP mills for future TV shows, future movies. They really don't care about the publication. But Zaslav is like nickel and diming on this stuff and going through and wants to see their financials. And I mean, I don't know, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe before I even got this video published, they've already announced major changes at DC Comics, which I think is going to happen. DC's been losing money hand over fist. And I mean, I think it's time that they were, put out to pasture. Go the way of old Yeller, right? It's just gone on for far too long. Let it die, and then use the characters to make movies, still make your TV shows and everything, and then license out the characters to other people. I think that's probably the best future for the DC Comics properties. But in light of all these changes, I thought it would be really fun to take a look at some of the reactions people have had to David Zaslav's changes over at Warner Bros. And HBO Max specifically, where a lot of projects have been canceled. And I will say this. Sure, I can feel bad for the people that work on the shows and, worked hard on the shows and everything. But you're never going to get me to feel sympathy or trash products that are being forced down people's throats. I mean, I keep hearing people saying, well, these were critically acclaimed. I'm like, everything is critically acclaimed. Every single MCU show is the top MCU show, since the last MCU show that came out, right? This is where we're at right now. Everything is highly acclaimed, and it's all shit. That's why they want to cancel these projects. But let's have some fun here. Hashtag fire David Zaslav. What this man is doing should be illegal. This isn't saving money. This is mass destruction and erasing pieces of Cartoon Network history. Those animators worked so hard, not even COVID could stop them. And this guy's just tossing their work out like garbage, because it is garbage. It is garbage. It's trash. I'm sorry. Maybe he gets like one show. Maybe he gets like one movie that was really, really awesome and really, really good, and people are going to miss it. I don't fucking care when you bog it down with 50 other titles that nobody wants to fucking watch. I don't care if one good project gets taken out here, if it means getting rid of like the 50 other trash products that these assholes want them to drop. How about this? HBO Max is treating animation fans and creators like hot, burning garbage. No, not HBO Max. It's David Zaslav. Get it right. HBO Max is just as much a victim of his cruelty as every other bit of Warner Bros. Discovery. I mean, I think it's hilarious. I really do. Because here's the thing. When a streaming service doesn't have what I want on it, I just cancel the streaming service, right? And I get where some of these people are coming from, where they're like, well, it's not even about that. I wanted them to release the show. I mean, again, if the shows weren't failing, they would keep them. Because, I think, what is it? The Harley Quinn show? I mean, Harley Quinn is pretty, I want to say more on, like, what you would call the woke side of things. I mean, Harley Quinn is in a lesbian relationship with Poison Ivy that is, and it's shown as being incredibly healthy for both of them, right? There's representation for that community. Plus, I mean, that show even took shots at like the Snyderverse people, right? And no shame in doing it. But it's bringing in views, so they're not canceling it. Maybe they do down the road, maybe. But the show is bringing them in views, so they plan to keep rolling it out. This other shit is either not bringing them in views, or it hasn't dropped yet. They know it's the same shit that they've been regurgitating for years, and they're like, we may as well not fuck with this and just start from scratch somewhere else. This is what happens when you don't actually convince people that you have like good shows and good movies to offer, right? When you just go ahead and scream that everyone's some sort of istophobic racist. This one's good. Trump supporter Clint Eastwood wannabe and all-around terrible person David Zaslav has single-handedly destroyed the animation legacy that Warner Bros. Spent almost 100 years creating. Shareholders should be terrified. Hashtag fire David Zaslav. Now I only got a couple more here. If you were thinking of watching a show by HBO, Cartoon Network, or Warner Bros., don't. They're gutting their streaming services and screwing over creators. And the new CEO unironically believes cable TV is the future. It's over. I feel like it should be noted that there are execs at Cartoon Network who don't want this and actively warned Warner Bros. Discovery not to do this. I don't think it's fair to blame everyone that works at these studios for this problem when it rests squarely on David Zaslav's shoulders. You know, look, you can tell this person has no clue what they're talking about, only because, yes, it's actually a direct result of these studios, okay? If the studios were successful, if the studios were raking in the greens, right? If the studios really did have the best fucking streaming service, period, bar none, do you honestly think they would hire a brand new CEO to come in and lose them like billions in stock value? I'm genuinely curious how these people's brains work, because you can never square that circle with them. You'll never be able to. Oh gosh, Movie Bob. Oh god, where did you go after that girl calls you out for fucking harassing her on Twitter? You fucking creep. LMFAO, the hits just keep on coming. David Zaslav's canceling of so many specifically female POC skewing projects at Warner. You know what's hilarious about that statement? I'm not going to finish the tweet. Fuck you, dude. Well, beyond just showing that you think that there's going to be federal antitrust because he's not promoting diversity and inclusion enough. You absolute amoral, moronic jackass. But, you know, let's think about this. Maybe the reason why so many of the projects are POC or female skewing is because that's literally every single project that they've been announcing, right? I mean, there aren't very many cartoons that I can think of where you would have like a straight white male lead in them. I mean, some, sure, but like everything that I've seen recently has heavily skewed in the favor of like POC-led, queer-based, women everywhere. And before anyone says, "Oh, why are you complaining? You're clear." I'm not. I'm just saying that's been the majority of the content, right? So if he's going through with an axe and cleaning up house, then you're just going to get a bunch of those shows canceled because, I mean, that's the majority of the content that they're producing right now. And again, regardless of who you make the lead of your show, I don't think that matters, right? You can have your lead be gay, okay? Let me just say this. Anyways, it's not even about who you have leading the show, right? One of my favorite TV shows, no joke, is Torchwood, right? If you've never watched Torchwood, the lead is in like several different relationships throughout the show with both men and women. Nothing wrong with it. Literally nothing wrong with it, because Captain Jack Harkness is just fun to fucking watch, right? He was a very entertaining character, and I mean, without him in the lead of that show, without the actor bringing that shit to life, I wouldn't have liked it. I wouldn't have watched it. But there you go, right? You can present a character that is not a straight cis, because you have to add that fucking thing on there, right? That is not a straight white male cis lead. You can still do that. But, like, you have to have a compelling story and well-written characters. And unfortunately, we don't. Because the moment they say it's minority-led, queer-based, there's women everywhere in the writing room, the moment they start saying that shit, you know they don't care about the quality. And I'm not kidding, because everybody else is doing the exact same thing, and the quality is fucking dog shit. Now, there was somebody that did jump in trying to kind of like be like, oh, hey, you know, this there's a reason why this is happening, okay? And they even acknowledged the loss in stock price, right? But they said Zaslav's getting lots of blame from the internet, but he's between a rock and a hard place. He inherited a company that was fiscally mismanaged for decades and tens of billions in debt. He promised investors he'd fix the mess when he took over. Now we'll have to see how deep the cuts go. Literally it. Literally why it's happening. I mean, I saw what's his face, Doomcock, that fucking liar, come out and talk about how David Zaslav's coming through and he's getting rid of all the woke stuff. I was like, no, he's not, because the fucking Harley Quinn cartoon's still on there, jackass. But at the same time, I think he's just going in there and doing literally what he was hired to do. And that's driving these people insane, because to them, they actually don't care about the profits of the company. Like, let's be real. Nobody actually cares about the profits Warner Bros. Brings in unless you are working at Warner Bros. Okay? Nobody actually gives a shit about it. But I think it's hilarious when we see projects get canceled and fail. We see Marvel losing, billions. They sit there and they'll defend that stuff based on diversity and inclusion and all this crap, right? And then David Zaslav comes in and starts making changes, and all of a sudden they care about the investors. All of a sudden they care about the people who own stock at Warner Bros. I'm like, oh god, shut the fuck up. But of course, if you present like a common sense take on an issue where people are fighting about it online, you're gonna get shit like this. Zaslav isn't exactly making himself look great either, especially with allegations of racism and anti-LGBTQ+. Anti-LGBTQ+ what, jackass? And he and Warner Bros. Discovery in general were warned that pulling this crap at the drop of a hat will break people's trust. But then he sort of like spills beans a little bit. It's more about how diversity isn't his top priority. And literally, there you go. That's it. That's all they fucking care about. Right? The show can be trash, it can have shit characters, it can make literally no fucking sense, but as long as you check all the boxes, it's a fucking masterpiece to these losers. And again, I say this as someone who's mixed race. For me, I've never needed to identify with the lead of a show based on my immutable characteristics. And anyone that thinks that you need that, man, I will never be able to relate to you. I won't. I really can't. Because I think that if you look at another human being, and the only way you can relate to them is if they have the same skin color, or they like putting their dick into the same things, right? Then I think that there might be something that you need to deal with on your own, because to me, it sort of sounds like you may be like a little bit too prejudiced against other individuals who don't like who aren't a part of your group, right? If anything, I think it's a pretty good way of keeping yourself closed-minded and shut off from everybody else when you do crap like that. But anyways, guys, you tell me what do you think in the comments section? Do you think David Zaslav's doing the right thing here? I'm still kind of on the fence about the guy, only because he has not canned the Flash movie. Although, again, I don't think this guy is making these decisions to, specifically target woke content. I really think it's just a financial decision, which is the reason why the Flash film hasn't been announced that it's being canceled. I mean, I think short of Ezra Miller literally murdering a child on a live stream, that movie is still going to come out.